Come all ye bold Canadians, I'll have you lend an ear, concerning a fine ditty that will make your courage cheer, concerning an engagement that we had at Sandwich Town, the courage of those Yankee boys so lately we pulled down. We had a bold commander, brave General Brock by name, with shipping at Niagara and down to York he came. He says, my gallant heroes, if you'll come along with me, we'll take those touty Yankees in the west of Canada. Our commander sent a flag to them, and unto them did say, deliver up your garrison, or we'll fire on you this day. But they would not surrender, and chose to stand their ground, so we opened up our great guns and gave them fire around. Their commander sent a flag to us, for quarter he did call. Oh, hold your guns, fine British boys, for fear you'll slay us all. Our town you have at your command, our garrison likewise. They dropped their guns and grounded them right before our eyes. And now we are all home again, each man is safe and sound. The memory of this conquest throughout the province sound. Success unto our volunteers who did their rights maintain, and to our bold commander, brave General Brock by name.
Upon the heights of Queenston, one dark October day, invading foes were marshalled in battle's dread array. Brave Brock looked up the rugged steep and planned a bold attack. No foreign flag shall float, said he, above the Union Jack. His loyal-hearted soldiers were ready, every one. Their foes were thrice their number, but duty must be done. They started up the fire-swept hill with loud, resounding cheers, while Brock's inspiring voice rang out, "Push on, York volunteers!" But soon a fatal bullet pierced through his manly breast, and loving friends to help him around that hero pressed. "Push on," said he, "don't mind me," and ere the set of sun, Canadians held the rugged steep, the victory was won. Each true Canadian soldier laments the death of Brock. His country told its sorrow in monumental rock. And if a foe should e'er invade our land in future years, his dying words will guide us still. Push on, brave volunteers.
In 1814 19, we took a little trip along with Colonel Packenham up the Mississippi. We took a little bacon and we took a little beans, and we met the bloomin' rebels in a town in New Orleans. We fired our guns and the rebels kept a-comin'. There wasn't as many as there was a while ago. We fired once more and they began to runnin' on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. We looked up the river and we see the rebels come, while we had at least 100 of us beating on the drum. We stepped so high and we made our bugles ring, while they stood beside their cotton bales and didn't say a thing. We fired our guns and the rebels kept a-comin'. There wasn't as many as there was a while ago. We fired once more and they began to runnin' on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. Old Hickory said they could take us by surprise if they didn't fire their muskets till they looked us in the eye. They held their fire till they seen our faces well, then they opened up their squirrel guns and really gave us well. We fired our guns and the rebels kept a-comin'. There wasn't as many as there was a while ago. We fired once more and they began to runnin' on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, they ran through the briars and they ran through the brambles and they ran through the bushes where a rabbit couldn't go. Ran so fast that the hounds couldn't catch him, down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. Until the barrel melted down, so they grabbed an alligator and they fought another round. They filled his head with cannonballs and powdered his behind. When they touched the powder off, the gator lost his mind. We fired our guns and the rebels kept a-comin'. There wasn't as many as there was a while ago. We fired once more and they began to runnin' on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, they ran through the briars and they ran through the brambles and they ran through the bushes where a rabbit couldn't go. Ran so fast that the hounds couldn't catch him, on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico.
In 1814 we took a little trip along with Colonel Jackson down the mighty Mississippi. We took a little bacon and we took a little beans, and we caught the bloody British in the town of New Orleans.
We fired our guns and the British kept a-comin'. There wasn't as many as there was a while ago. We fired once more and they began to runnin' down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico.
We looked down the river and we seen the British come, and there must have been 100 of them beating on the drum. They stepped so high and they made the bugles ring. We stood beside our cotton bales and didn't say a thing. If we didn't fire a musket till we looked them in the eye, we held our fire till we see the faces well, then we opened up a squirrel gun and really gave them hell.
We fired our guns and the British kept a-comin'. There wasn't as many as there was a while ago. We fired once more and they began to run down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, they ran through the briar and they ran through the bramble, and they ran through the bushes where a rabbit couldn't go. They ran so fast the hounds couldn't catch them, down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. We fired our cannon till the barrel melted down, so we grabbed an alligator and we fought another round. We filled his head with cannonballs and powdered his behind, and when we touched the powder off, the gator lost his mind.
We fired our guns and the British kept a-comin'. There wasn't as many as there was a while ago. We fired once more and they began to run down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, they ran through the briars and they ran through the brambles, and they ran through the bushes where we took a little beans, and we fought the bloody British in the town of New Orleans. We fired our guns and the British kept a coming. There wasn't nigh as many as there was a while ago. We fired once more and they began to run down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. We fired our guns and the British kept a coming. There wasn't nigh as many as there was a while ago. We fired once more and they began to run down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. Down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. Down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico.
Come all you brave young soldier lads with your strong and manly bearing. I'll tell you a tale of a woman bold and her deed of honest daring. Laura Secord was American born in the state of Massachusetts, but she made her home in Canada and proved so faithful to us. There's American guns and 500 men, so the warning must be given. And Laura Ingersoll Secord was a stalwart heart who braved the heat and the flies in the swamp to warn Colonel Fitzgibbon. There's soldiers pounding at the door and they come from across the border. American officers march inside, it's food and drink they've ordered. In comfort they have dined and drunk, their own success they've toasted. But they pay no heed to the woman who hears their plan so widely boasted. There's American guns and 500 men, so the warning must be given. And Laura Ingersoll Secord was a stalwart heart who braved the heat and the flies and the swamp to warn Colonel Fitzgibbon. Oh, James, I've overheard it all, a surprise attack they're making. Fitzgibbon they intend to smash his men for prisoners taking. And James, a warning never you'll take with your wounded knee and shoulder. I myself must carry it past the sentries and the soldiers. There's American guns and 500 men, so the warning must be given. And Laura Ingersoll Secord was a stalwart heart who braved the heat and the flies and the swamp to warn Colonel Fitzgibbon. It's an all-day tramp to the British camp by way of Shipman's Corners. There's snakes and flies and sweat in her eyes, there is no respite for her. She's lost her shoes in the muck of the bog, her feet are torn and blistered. But there's many a soldier lad to be spared if the message be delivered. There's American guns and 500 men, so the warning must be given. And Laura Ingersoll Secord was a stalwart heart who braved the heat and the flies and the swamp to warn Colonel Fitzgibbon. So all you Yankee soldier lads who dare to cross our border, thinking to save us from ourselves, usurping British order. There's women and men, Canadians, all of every rank and station, to stand on guard and keep us free from Yankee domination. There's American guns and 500 men, so the warning must be given. And Laura Ingersoll Secord was a stalwart heart who braved the heat and the flies and the swamp to warn Colonel Fitzgibbon. And Laura Ingersoll Secord was a stalwart heart who braved the heat and the flies and the swamp to warn Colonel Fitzgibbon.
twilight last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watch, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does the Star-Spangled Banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, the sea never, when freemen shall stand between their loved home and wild war's desolation, blessed with victory and peace, may the heaven rescue the land. Praise the power that hath made and preserved us a nation. Then conquer we must when our cause it is just, and this be our motto, in God is our trust. And the Star-Spangled Banner in triumph shall wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ye gentlemen and ladies fair who grace this famous city, come listen if you've time to spare while I rehearse this ditty. And for an opportunity conceive yourselves quite lucky, for 'tis not often that you meet a hunter from Kentucky. Oh, Kentucky, the hunters of Kentucky. I suppose you've read it in the prints how Pakenham attempted to make old Hickory Jackson wince, but soon his schemes repented. Old Pakenham, he made his brags if he in fights was lucky. He'd have our gals in cotton bags in spite of old Kentucky. Oh, Kentucky, the hunters of Kentucky. But Jackson, he was wide awake, he was not scared at trifles, for well he knew what aim to take with our Kentucky rifles. He led us down to Cypress Swamp, the ground was low and mucky, and quickly round the general flocked the hunters of Kentucky. Oh, Kentucky, the hunters of Kentucky. They did not let our patience tire before they showed their faces. We did not choose to waste our fire and snugly kept our places. And when so near to see 'em wink, we thought it time to stop 'em. It would have done you good, I think, to see Kentuckians drop 'em. They found at last 'twas vain to fight where lead was all their booty, and so they wisely took to flight and left us all our beauty. And now if danger e'er annoys, remember what our trade is. Just send for us Kentucky boys and we'll protect your ladies. Oh, Kentucky, the hunters of Kentucky.
He was over 2 axe handles tall, he was arrow straight and thin. He was rough and he was tougher than a gnarled old hickory limb. In the War of 1812, Andrew Jackson got that name. His soldiers gave it to him forever to remain. Andrew Jackson was a soldier, about as soft as old cement. When he had a thing or two to say, folks knew just what he meant. Lots of big men tried to break him, but never was he bent. Old Hickory Andrew Jackson, our 7th president. Old Hickory's eyes were bright and blue, and they searched for truth and right. And when they didn't see it, there would likely be a fight. If old Hickory didn't like a thing someone had done or said, he coolly looked them in the eye, then hit them on the head. Andrew Jackson was a soldier, about as soft as old cement. When he had a thing or two to say, folks knew just what he meant. Lots of big men tried to break him, but never was he bent. Old Hickory Andrew Jackson, our 7th president. From the lonely piney woods he came, and he seemed to always yearn to go back home to Tennessee, his home once more return. He called his place the Hermitage, and contentedly he sighed. That's where Andrew Jackson, old Hickory, finally died. Andrew Jackson was a soldier, about as soft as old cement. When he had a thing or two to say, folks knew just what he meant. Lots of big men tried to break him, but never was he bent. Old Hickory Andrew Jackson, our 7th president. Andrew Jackson was a soldier, about as soft as old cement. When he had a thing or two to say, folks knew just what he meant. Lots of big men tried to break him, but never was he bent. Old Hickory Andrew Jackson, our 7th president. Old Hickory Andrew Jackson, our 7th president.
Too thin the line that charged the heights and scrambled in the clay. Too thin the eastern townships got who showed them all the way. And perhaps had you not fallen, you might be what Brock became. But not one in 10,000 knows your name. To say the name MacDonnell, it would bring no bugle call, but the redcoats stayed beside you when they saw their general fall. 'Twas MacDonnell raised the banner then and set the heights aflame, but not one in 10,000 know your name. Oh, you brought the field all standing with your courage and your luck, but unknown to most, you're lying there beside old General Brock. So you know what it is to scale the heights and fall just short of fame, and have not one in 10,000 know your name. At Queenston now the general on his tower stands alone, and there's lichen on MacDonnell carved upon that weathered stone. In a corner of that monument to glory you could claim, but not one in 10,000 knows your name. Oh, you brought the field all standing with your courage and your luck, but unknown to most, you're lying there beside old General Grock. So you know what it is to scale the heights and fall just short of fame. Have not one in 10,000 know your name. Oh, you brought the field all standing with your courage and your luck, but unknown to most, you're lying there beside old General Grock. So you know what it is to scale the heights and fall just short of fame, and have not one in 10,000 know your name.
On top of the ridge up at Queenston Heights, one dark October day, Van Rensselaer's shining guns were all marshaled up in battle's dread array. Waybrock looked up toward the rugged steep, and he planned a bold attack. No foreign Yankee flag shall float, cried he, above our Union Jack. His loyal-hearted soldiers brave were ready, everyone. Their foes were 3 times more than our bold Canadian band, but duty must be done. They started up on the fire-swept slope with loud resounding cheers, and Brock's inspiring voice rang out loud and clear, push on, York volunteers. But then a fatal musket shot pierced his manly breast, and loving friends around to help him all. Our gallant hero pressed, push on, he said, don't mind me. And there the set of the sun, our bold Canadian boys held the rugged rocky steed. The victory was won. Each true Canadian volunteer mourns the death of Brock and his country in respect for all that he had done. Carved a monument in rock, and today on the hill at the battle site, the wild Niagara flows. Brock looks with quiet pride toward the foreign Yankee side, as ere his legend grows. And if a foe should e'er invade our land in future years, his fearless dying words will lead us in our cause. Push on, brave volunteers. Push on, he said, don't mind me. And there the set of the sun, our bold Canadian boys held the rugged rocky steed.